What's up, everybody? This past week was very good in terms of great trades, many easy 3 reward trades along with some good 2 reward opportunities as well. Great moves off of the dollar index. Trading can be very easy if you simply only choose to enter into solid patterns that also have good market conditions working in their favor. And I'm going to show you some of the best that I saw and some that I took personally. These patterns are all part of the 7 high probability patterns that I've discovered in my 3 years of trading to have the highest rates of success, and I mainly focus on the trend continuation patterns since those are by far the best and also the most common of the 7. I'll also talk about some of the other things you want to look out for as far as favorable market conditions before deciding to enter into a trade. When deciding to enter into a trade, you want to be only looking at A+ trades. I used to take my chances with subpar trades, but honestly, there are so many great trade opportunities I don't even bother now unless they are pretty much perfect. This means a clear pattern, you've got a good outlook on the lower and higher time frames, and also the correlated pairs are working in your favor. You typically will want to go for at least 2 reward or 3 reward, so you want to look for moves that have a long range potential. My favorite couple of pairs to illustrate a perfect trade are the GBP USD and Euro USD, since these are so closely correlated with the US dollar index and the Euro GBP. Also the AUD USD and NZD USD, since these are correlated with the US dollar index and the AUD NZD pair. Remember, the GU, EU, AU, and NZDU are all correlated against the dollar, so these 4 pairs are almost the same pair. Also note that you only need to keep a 34% win rate to break even using 2 reward and a 26% win rate to break even using 3 reward. Using the high probability patterns I've discovered should keep you at a minimum of 50% or more of a win rate. I usually keep around 70 to 80% win rate personally, so as long as you're being patient and using proper risk management, you will make money using these methods for sure. So let's look at a couple of trades from this past week. I'll go over some good entry points and also the correlated pairs and what to look for on those charts. All right, so the first good trade that I saw on Monday, this was the 24th, and this was on the AUD NZD. And we see here on the 5-minute chart, the start of the session was actually over here. So we had about an hour before anything substantial happened. So down on the 5-minute chart, we get a really big move upwards. So what you can start looking for here, an engulfing bottom pattern. So we're basically going to look for a small consolidation. All right, got our first red bar there. Got another big move up. No real good entry point yet. So we got our first touchdown back on the 8 EMA. And so that's the first confirmation on the cross pairs, the heavier pairs that have the bigger spreads. I usually wait for 2 confirmations no matter what the move is. So in this case, this would be either an engulfing bottom or an EMA trend continuation. So we're just looking for one more touch back down to the EMA and a solid bar in the other direction before we enter anything. All right, we got our second red bar move down. So this is pretty much a perfect place to enter. Got 2 confirmations touching right on the 21 EMA, which is usually a really good spot to take trades from. So 9 pip stop loss, and was that 27 pip take profit for 3 reward. All right, so that's what that entry would look like. Let's go ahead and see the trade play out. All right, and it would have went through right there. So that is about an hour and a half. So that's pretty in line with how long 3 reward trades usually take. They usually take anywhere from half an hour. I've seen some go all the way up to like 5 hours. So it really just depends on the move, but that one was actually pretty quick. And the next really good trade that I saw was also on the 24th. This was on Monday, and this is the Euro GBP pair. So we see down on the hourly, we had a really big move down. One thing about the Euro GBP in particular is it tends to not really trend too heavy in one direction for too long. The Euro and the GBP are pretty similar, and it usually stays pretty stable for the most part. You'll get some big moves, but it's rare that you'll see a big giant. What I'm trying to say is it's rare that this would go down any further than it's already gone down. So down here on the 5-minute chart, the session actually started right here. So we've already got a double bottom. So this is already a really good support area here. So just starting this over pretty much from the start of the session. That's pretty sloppy to try to enter that as an engulfing bottom. This is honestly pretty choppy overall so far. We got another touchdown to this area. Big rejection tail. That's always a good sign that a reversal will happen soon. You could have actually put a buy stop up here to try to catch that as a engulfing bottom, but it didn't go above it anyway, so that wouldn't have went through. So what you could look for here is another bottom. That would be a triple bottom. So you got a big move down right into this same support level. This is pretty much where you could go ahead and enter, and make sure to put the stop underneath the level. So you can go with 12, maybe even 13 to be on the safe side, but I'll go with 12 here, and that is 36 for a 3 reward. And let's go ahead and look at that. All right, and it went through pretty much right there. This pair does kind of have a big spread. Okay, so it definitely went through there, and that one took more like 2 hours. Again, like I say all the time, 3 reward trades, they usually take between 30 minutes and 4 hours. I've seen some go up to 5 hours though, so it can be longer, but usually like an hour and a half, 2 hours is what you can expect. And next up we have the GBP USD, and this was on the 25th. Pretty much all the trades, well, at least 2 of the trades from Tuesday were based off of the dollar index. So if we look here, see on the 25th, down here on the hourly chart, that is actually right over here. So the beginning of the London session was right here, and this was after this really big move down, and the dollar index had been going up for I think like 2 or 3 weeks, so it was kind of due to start moving in the other direction just based off of that. So over on the GBP USD, right at the start of the session, we already have a pretty established support level here. We got our first touch here, we got another touch here with a good, pretty decent sized bar in the other direction, and we got a really heavy bar right here. So you could have actually entered right there. You could call that a triple bottom, and again, you want to put the stop underneath the support area. It's pretty much 17, and that is a 51 pip take profit. So that would have went through right in there. Pretty quick trade. Looks like about 2 hours there. But there were also a bunch of other different entry points. So you had an EMA trend continuation off the 21 EMA right here. So 14 pip stop loss and a 42 pip take profit. So that one did take a couple of hours, and you also had another EMA trend continuation right there off of the 8 EMA, and you had another one here off of the 21. And if you waited until the New York session, you had a bunch of really good trades. You had a consolidation TC right there and another one here. The dollar index was moving so heavy, so these moves are pretty much guaranteed. And you also had another EMA trend continuation here. You'd have had to take that one off of the 3-minute chart. But definitely a bunch of different trade opportunities just on that one pair. And there was another really good move on that same day, and this was on the Euro GBP. We see on the hourly, got a really big move up right into this resistance level here, and then we get a big engulfing bar on the way down, and down on the 5-minute The start of the session was right here on this green bar with this giant rejection tail. We've already got a really big move down. So what we're looking for there is a touch to either the 8 or the 21. And we got that right here. And you got a big engulfing bar right in the other direction. Actually, remember taking this trade. I was excited at how perfect it came out. So if you want to be on the safe side, you can put the stop above the 21 EMA. So that is a 24 pip take profit. And that went through right there. So really easy trade there. Went by pretty quick too. And there was actually another really good trade on the 25th. And this was on the AUD NZD. I actually took this trade strictly off of the 5-minute chart. And there was a bunch of different entries here. So I'll just show you all of those. This here was a combination engulfing bottom and consolidation trend continuation pattern, and technically an EMA trend continuation too. So that was a really solid move right there. You could have also entered off of this wide range bar here. You've got another consolidation trend continuation right there, and you have another EMA trend continuation, pretty much a perfect one. It's got 2 confirmations and everything, and a wide range bar. And you had one more solid entry right here, another EMA trend continuation from the 8 EMA. So multiple different trade opportunities on that pair also. And the last move that I saw on the 25th that was pretty good was on the AUD USD. So remember, the 25th was right in here on the US dollar index. So once you see this big giant move down right here, this was starting at pretty much 545. So if you go back to the pair and you skip over to 545, you got this really big move up. You see it hasn't crossed this level yet. So to be on the safe side, you could even wait until later on. And at that point, you have a consolidation TC there. You got another one here. You got EMA TC here. Again, you probably would have had to take that off the 3-minute chart to get a better entry, safer entry. So you'll probably notice these are pretty much the same moves from the GBP USD that I showed you. Like I would say, the GBP USD, Euro USD, AUD USD, and NZD USD are almost all the same pair. So whatever's going on with the dollar index, these pairs will do the opposite. So it's usually best to pick one to take your trades on rather than trying to take multiple trades on those pairs. And the next really good move, this was the following day on Wednesday, the 26th. And this was also on the GBP USD. So if you look at the dollar index, this was the start of the session right here. And we immediately get a big move down. And it just continues on down. So you go back to the GBP USD. So the start of the session was right here. I actually got into this trade early. I remember I took the trade right here. I just had a really good feeling that it would go through, especially with all these rejection tails. So that's at 18 pip stop loss. So 54 pip take profit, which is right in there. And that went through really fast. I believe that is 20 minutes. So 20 minutes for a 3 reward, pretty good. This is one of those rare times where you could actually stay into the trade and get even more. I think you could have got like 6 reward out of this, since the dollar index was moving so heavy. And let me also show you the reason the GBP USD went up so heavy and so quickly was because the Euro GBP was going down so quickly and so heavy. So remember, when the Euro GBP goes down, that means the GBP is stronger in relation to the Euro. So pretty much starting on this big wide range bar here is where you could have entered if you also wanted to enter over here. So you could be a little bit riskier and put the stop here, or you could be on the safe side and put the stop up here, 15 pips. And it looks like that didn't quite go 3 reward. Actually, it did. So this is one of those times where I don't even know if I can fit this on here. Let's see. Okay. So if you did go for 3 reward, which would be 45 pips, that would be way down in there. So that took more than 24 hours, I guess. I don't know how long exactly, but pretty much an entire day. But it did actually end up going through. So if you wanted to go for 3 reward and you wanted to stay in the trade that long, it would have worked. Also on that same day, the 26th, we had a pretty good trade opportunity on the AUD NZD. And if you see down here on the hourly chart, we got this really big move down. Usually when you see that in the middle of a trend going up, it's most likely going to go up above that. And that's exactly what happened. So down here on the 5-minute chart, we've got a really good EMA trend continuation. This was actually before the session started, but the move was so good that it was definitely a good move to get into. So that's a 7 pip stop loss and 21 pip take profit. So there was at least so there was one entry there. There are actually a bunch of different good entries here. I would say the best one other than that would be right in here. So this was at 2:30, 2.5 hours after the session opened. And this is another EMA trend continuation on the 21 EMA. I wouldn't try to go for 3 reward here. It's just a little bit too far up into the pattern, but 2 reward did work. And then one other good trade opportunity I saw was on the AUD USD. Again, the GU, EU, AU, and NZDU are all pretty much the same pair. So since the Euro GBP was going down, we went long on the GBP USD. And since the AUD NZD was going up, we went, or you could have gone long on the AUD USD. And we got a pretty much perfect consolidation TC right there. Pretty much a 10 pip stop loss and 30 pip take profit. Again, this move was so good on the dollar that you could have went for 4 or 5 take profit. And there was also another really good EMA trend continuation right there. So multiple different moves. You see it went up even further over here. So on the next day, on the 27th, was another good trade on the NZD USD. And if we look over at the dollar index, remember the dollar has been coming down for the last 2 days. So I figured this would be the day that it actually starts to recover a little bit and go up. And that's exactly what happened. So a good place to go ahead and enter your other major pairs would be on this big engulfing bar right here. This is a 50% retrace from this move up here. Or you could have waited until it actually broke through this resistance level right here, and that would be at 205. So we got 2 opportunities, one at 120 and one at 205. So if we go and look over at the NZD USD, so 120 was here, big wide range engulfing bar there. So you could have entered a trade here. It's 10 and 30. So I went through right over there. Or you could have waited until 205, which was right here. So this is actually an EMA trend continuation off of the 8 EMA. So either one of those entries would have worked. You also had another entry down here and even another one over here. When you've got big moves on the dollar index, you're usually going to have a bunch of different opportunities to enter on the major pairs. On that same day, on the 27th, we also had some really good moves on the Euro GBP. And these actually started in the New York session. So you see we've got actually have a head and shoulders pattern. Don't really see too many of those these days. A bunch of different ways to enter. We're getting big wide range bars on the way down. So you could have entered either here or here and put your stop up there to be safe. Since the stop is so heavy, I would have went for just 2 reward there. So that would have went through right there. You've also got another really good trade. Big giant bar here. So this is another EMA trend continuation here. Couple of different ways to enter in on that move. And one of the last moves I took, this was on Friday And this I actually took before the session opened. I know I say all the time not to take trades before the session open, but this was one of those rare times where it was actually a good enough move that I just knew it wasn't going to come down further than here. And the dollar index was on its way up. So this is the USD Swiss franc, and I actually entered right here, 12 pip stop loss and 36 pip take profit. This is one of the trades that I was just so confident. I knew for sure that it was going to go through, and it actually went through pretty quickly. Only took about an hour. And one more really good move also from Friday. This was on the Euro GBP, and this is a perfect example of a couple of different patterns on a couple of different time frames. So you see down here on the hourly chart, we've got this really big move down that we've been trading all week, and it finally comes up to the 21 EMA on the hourly chart, and you end up getting this big move with a rejection tail in the other direction. That is a good sign that it will probably reverse the same way that it does on the 5-minute charts. So on the 5-minute chart, it showed up as a double top in that same area. So this was the perfect short trade here, and to be safe, you could put it above this, the first top. So 11 pip stop loss. If you'd have went for a 2 reward, that would have went through right over here, and 3 reward would have went through down there. So that did take quite a few hours, but it was a really solid move, and you could definitely be confident that it would go through. Those were some of the best trades I saw from this past week. I've kind of stopped trading the cross pairs because they've been super inconsistent lately. It's a real shame because the GBP AUD used to be one of my favorite pairs to trade ever since the pandemic. Let me be careful how I say that. I don't want to get canceled. Ever since then, that pair has not produced any good results for me, but that's okay. As you can see, there are plenty of trade opportunities on just the majors and what I call the reference pairs, the Euro GBP and AUD NZD. On days where the dollar will be making clear moves, I choose the majors. Otherwise, I go with the reference pairs or occasionally the yen pairs. This strategy I've used pretty much all of this year with great results. I do want to mention there will be a lot of turmoil coming to the markets in the next couple of weeks. We have the US midterm election starting on November 8th. This will be my first time trading through a midterm election, but if it's anything like the presidential election, then we're in for a rocky ride. The market was so choppy during the Biden versus Trump election, I literally just stopped trading as if it was a holiday. So be on the lookout for that. Also, Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming up soon. These are by far the worst holidays to try and trade through. I made an entire video about this already, so you can check that one out. I'll put it up at the top bar. Long story short, there isn't very much movement during these times. Patterns will often fail, and it's not the ideal time to be trading. I just look at it as a built-in vacation. I'll be putting up a new video about this pretty soon. So that is all for today. Don't forget to press the like button if you enjoyed the content. Remember to always trade responsibly, and I'll see you guys later.